Hey, how's it going, everybody? Patrick OPD here, Sunday morning in the Cheesy Moon Workshop. I thought this was recording, but it wasn't. I'm in the midst of cleaning up a flea market find from yesterday. It was kind of a slow day. Several yard sales and one flea market, and only one real knife find. That was this knife that's unidentified. There's a embossed logo on the blade here. Looks to be like a mountain with a climbing spike, whatever you call those, little pickaxe or something stuck in it. And on the blade, I could make out Germany. I haven't had a time really to research it. I put it in an oil bath last night, and because it is heavily rusted, but just in the oil bath, it appears to have gotten some of the snap back. But yeah, look at that. Small blade over here. Still all slimy from oil, but we're going to get it cleaned up. See if I can do a little detective work. Okay, corkscrew. Lots of grime and rust, heavy, thick rust down in this thing. It's gonna be a project getting this one cleaned up. But if you notice here, get it focus. It all looks like it's bent right there. It sticks out, and it's pretty floppy. And I'm sure that's a sign of a lot of use, or just some negligent abuse. But I don't know. I may be able to straighten it out. But I don't know that I'll ever be able to get it tightened up. I mean, it could be the pin. There's a little bit of gapping on there, but I think it's just been used a lot and is wore down. But this is going to be a fun one to clean up. And one thing I did find. Oh, I gave $3 for this knife. Okay, sorry about the camera. I gave $3 for this knife. If anybody has any insight into this logo on there, looks like a mountain with a pickaxe in the side of it. I don't know if it has to do with mining or Swiss Alps or whatever. The only thing I found on the knife was Germany. And that leaves it wide open as to who the manufacturer might have been. It's kind of a Swiss Army knife-esque. The age on this, I have to do a little bit of research, but is going to be somewhat definable by the style of this can opener. and it too has no spring snap whatsoever. And I believe it shares the same spring with the awl or punch. But this is one of the older style can openers. Lobster claw, I think a lot of people called it. And very, very pointy. I don't know if that's been, looks like it may have been retouched at some point. Because the very tip of that is a little shinier than the rest of it. But it's going to be a fun cleanup project and a fun research. Don't know that I'll ever find anything. If I do, I do. I don't. It's just a cool old knife, and I love the camp style knife, and this is definitely a camp style utility type knife. And I'm going to see if I can use a good old, it's one of my favorite cleaning tools, Scotch-Brite. Just go to the grocery store, grab your pack of them for $2 or $3. And as you can see here, heavy rust. It will cut through it. I like it better than sandpaper for this because it tends not to leave lines because it's basically steel wool type texture. And it can be fairly aggressive depending on how much pressure you put on it. So I clean up that tang stamp a little bit there. But I absolutely love Scotch-Brite. As I buy Scotch-Brite belts for my belt sander. And when there you can see just clean with Scotch-Brite, and the other side. It's inexpensive and doesn't scar up the blade. And I like kind of doing this way because the sharp edge of the blade, I'm kind of protected with my chubby finger from cutting this finger. The very tip, you don't try to go backwards, you snag the pad there. Clean up this side of the tang stamp. This will get another oil bath to further loosen up some of the crud that's down in there, down inside the knife. And just like that, rust is gone, patina has stayed behind. This knife has a saw. That was the first blade I had wiped down here. It's not a very aggressive saw, but for the technology they had back then with the grinding and such, I'm pretty impressed with how nice that saw potentially is. I'm going to give a little test. But I love the Scotch-Brite and how quickly it just eats that rust, that red rust. And I could put this on a wheel, a grinder wheel, with brass brush, or a Dremel tool with a brass wheel or whatever. I could put it on a fiber wheel on a rotary round grinder type disc, and I have those tools. But I like this. Yeah, it takes a while, but it's like a personal involvement with the knife. And I always say it's not always the story of how many people have touched this knife over the years, which I'm sure there's been quite a few, but how many people has this knife touched in some way? Daily carry, belong to dad or a brother, or your first knife. Maybe it's got some special meaning to someone somewhere in the past or far off in the current present. It touched the man at the flea market because he made $3. So these old knives, they have touched a lot of people in their lifetimes, and that continues now with me and whoever will end up with this knife in the future, my daughter or my other daughter, one of the grandkids, whatever. This knife will continue to touch people for a long time now that it has been rescued out of the rust pile that it was in. And with that, I'm going to shut up, quit yapping. I'll just continue to clean, and then I'll just fast forward through some of that so it's not a 2-hour video. Okay, guys, I'll stop for now on this knife. If anybody knows this logo or recognizes it, leave me a comment, let me know. And I want to stop for now. I'll give this another oil bath and do a little bit more tuning up on it. But for now, I think she came out pretty good. So guys, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good jazz. Until I see you again, have a beautiful day.